Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Scoreboard Keepers. I am your host, the Ref. It was a barn burner in Cincinnati this past weekend. We'll be right back in 30 seconds.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome you to the Scoreboard Keepers. Around here, we don't keep receipts. We keep the score. So if you want to get on the board, make your point. If it makes sense, we'll add it to the board. If it don't, we won't. Scoreboard Keepers.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Scoreboard Keepers. This should only take us 10 minutes. Let's get the clock rolling. Ladies and gentlemen, if you missed this game, you missed the possible best game of the year. Ladies and gentlemen, this game came down to the wire. Overtime. Baltimore Ravens 41, Cincinnati Bengals 38. But let me tell you, Cincinnati Bengals had a chance to win this game. It came down to the kicker, and their kicker missed. He could have sealed the deal. You know the saying, the kicker only got one job, but it's a tough job. He has one job, but it's a tough job. It's not as easy as everybody thinks. And let me tell you something, that stadium was windy. It was windy. And that thing went wide. It went off. It went off track. But congratulations to the Baltimore Ravens and their win. They seem like they got things on track right now. Lamar Jackson is looking fantastic. He looks stronger. He looks faster. He looks more focused. He's taking care of the ball. You know, I'm not sure what he did in the offseason, but he looks a lot stronger. He put up some hellified numbers, 26 of 42, but 348 yards, 55 yards on the ground rushing. That's a lot of yards rushing for my quarterback, though, personally. I wouldn't want my quarterback leaving the pocket that much. You got to make sure he's healthy at the end of the year for the playoffs and going through that tough division in the AFC North. You want to make sure he's healthy, and leaving that pocket is not a smart thing this time of the year, especially when it gets cold outside. You know, things happen. And making it through a grueling NFL season is tough for any athlete. I don't care how good you are. But Lamar Jackson is playing good football right now, and so is the team. They seem like they got their swagger back. They started off a little rocky, to the season, but the last two games they look like they found their swagger. But that's ebbs and flows. So you can't crown them right now. I know a lot of people are. You can't. There's a lot of football that need to be played. They still have to go places. They're going to see Cincinnati again in Baltimore. They have to see Pittsburgh twice, and Pittsburgh swept them last year. They have to see Cleveland. There's a lot going on right now. I know, Cleveland's not playing that well, but division games are always tough no matter what's going on. And along with all these beautiful numbers that Lamar Jackson put up, he also 4 touchdowns. 4 touchdowns. So, you can't take nothing away from the man. They're playing good right now. And if they start hitting on all cylinders, they're a team to be reckoned with. But Joe Burrow is just the opposite. I don't know what's going on up there. Jamar Chase had a great day. If you throw 5 touchdowns, if you would have told this man the day before, you're throwing 5 touchdowns tomorrow, and he would have automatically assumed it probably would have been a blowout. I know I would have. 5 touchdowns and you still lose. That I don't know what more this man can do. So I don't want to. I don't want to place blame on his shoulders. There's a lot going on. He's facing good teams right now, and they've come out of the gates like on a rocky start. The Bengals fall to 1-4. To 1-4 in that division. These games are going to count down the road when playoff time comes around. You're going to have to depend on this person, and that team, and you're going to be hoping that they play their starters in late games. Nah, you don't want to have another team controlling your destiny like that. You want to get out there and take care of business is what you want to do. But Joe Burrow, it's his first career 5 touchdown game, and then lose in that fashion, it's got to be tough, man. It's got to be tough. That's a shot at the morale inside of the locker room. It can be. You want people to keep believing in you, and if you're giving those pep talks, you want them to stay with you. You don't want to lose your team this early in the season because people will start asking for trades and they'll start checking out, and that's the last thing you want. And this man right here, the night train, Derrick Henry, he seems like he's found the fountain of youth, people. He seems like he's found the fountain of youth. I'm not sure, how or where. He just seems like he has. You know, he struck out on an 81 yarder a few weeks back, and right in overtime in this game against the Bengals, he strikes out for a 51-yard run that set the Ravens up for the game winning field goal. In overtime. I mean, look, when you got somebody like this that can take that kind of pressure off of Lamar Jackson right now, and you can just turn around and you have that option behind you. When you have an option like this behind you, where you can just turn around and give him the ball and say, "Listen, whatever happens, happens. Just get me some hard yards," and he busts out for 51. People, are shying away from that late in the game. I've noticed that he starts putting the pressure on him, and people don't want to tackle him, and he's just running away from him. Straight to the end zone. Running away. As big as he is, he's running away from teams. And players and getting into the end zone. And I mean that kind of stuff is for defense. It has to be. That's uncalled for. If as a defense, you guys got to be able to stop a man like this late in the games. But if not, somebody his size and with his speed, he's going to take full advantage of your weakness, and that's what he's done lately. And I mean, he's looked really good. I'm pretty sure he's found some happiness down there in Baltimore. He probably liked the morale. He probably likes his new line, and then he probably likes the options that he has down there with with all the tight ends. He doesn't have to be the man. He just has to do his job when he gets the ball, and that's amazing. When you got those kind of options. I mean, you look at here, Lamar Jackson just drops back and picking his targets down the field. You know what I mean? And I mean, it's not a defensive lineman in sight. There's not a defensive lineman in sight. You hand it off to this guy, Derrick Henry, fighting for yards. He get in the end zone like that. I mean, you have your quarterback's not taking any shots. You're just giving it to your running back, 200 pounds plus, and getting some hard yards. You know what I mean? And then the defense is thriving down there right now. When you're playing with those kind of things, man, the defense steps up, and then, you got Lamar dropping back and just picking and choosing where he wants to go. And what I've noticed is that he's already 5 to 7 yards in the backfield, and then he takes more steps backwards. So he's about 10 to 15 yards away from the line being able to scramble. And, then the blitzes, I mean, they were all over Joe Burrow. And, I mean, Joe Burrow was nothing he could do unless he was throwing it to Jamar Chase, which he ended up doing, and I mean, which ended up being a costly mistake. But the defensive front for Cincinnati Bengals just wasn't getting home, no matter how you look at it. I mean, he was scrambling out of the pocket, and these receivers are accustomed to him doing it. And I mean, it's creating so much time. And it's that type of scrambling, it puts so much pressure on the opposing team's defensive backs to cover for that long without anybody getting home. I mean, you just have to dial up something for this man to get him out, to get him out of sync, and to do something to get him to make a mistake. Because if he doesn't make a mistake, I mean, he's going downtown on you. I mean, he's not throwing, like check downs. He's going downtown on the A train. He's trying to take you out of there. Play action, right over top of the defensive end, coming in, drops it off. I believe that's Zay Flowers. And, you got another first down. It's just tough to stop if you're not in the proper defense for a team like this. There he is, 7 yards back, takes 2 steps back, and right down the field to his tight end, who probably, wouldn't have been open if it wasn't for the defense showing so much respect for Lamar. And then you have Derrick Henry back there. So, play action and right over to Isaiah Likely. You know, they got two tight ends down there. I mean, three basically. I mean, because you got Mark Andrews, who you can never forget about him. You can never forget about Mark Andrews. I mean, you know, you're talking about a Pro Bowler, but you know, you got this guy dropping back, and I'm telling you, by the time he gets ready to throw the ball, he's already 15 yards away from your defensive front. So how do you get to a man like that? And then he has the propensity to scramble. So it's tough, man. It's tough, and it's hard to stop. You know, then he can use his legs, as you see, pushing linemen out of the way, and he's not sliding. And this is why I said he has to be careful. Look, scrambling and right through your pocket, you know, thinking about what he's going to do. You think he's going to slide? Nope. Nope. Right into the thick of your defense. He's right into the thick of your defense without taking a slide. You know, Cox back, throws out to Mark Andrews, who probably could have rolled in the end zone if he wanted to. He probably could have rolled in and scored, but it's the play action. And then you got Derrick Henry back there that everybody's fears. Look at that, 12 yards behind the line, basically, and right out to his receiver. Right out to his receiver. You know, dropping back. I'm telling you, he's like dropping 15 yards back, so nobody's even getting a hand on him, basically. So he's playing clean and free. He can see clean and free down, standing up tall like a statue, you know, and then you have heroics that come into play, you know, scrambling out. Look at this, look at his strength. Look, throwing linemen off of him, you know, and you think he's going to run out of bounds. Nope. Isaiah Likely for a touchdown. And that play right there, it probably cost them the game, that play right there, because they didn't take him down the way they were supposed to. They were arm tackling up high, and he's obviously stronger now. You know, with him stiff arming linemen like that, you know, and then Cincinnati gets desperate. And what do? They got to go to their go-to, right? You know, I mean, they got to go to Jamar Chase, right? Nope. You go to Jamar Chase, and that interception right there seals the deal. Seals the deal, because you went to that well one too many times. You went to that well one too many times, and I mean, and that changes the game. And then the defense is just pinning their ears back at this point because they're coming after you. You know, and if you look at Joe Burrow, he was what, 4 yards, 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. That, I mean, Lamar Jackson's never like that. And then you got this guy. Now all of a sudden he was doing all that scrambling, and then here he comes. Derrick Henry comes in overtime, breaks out for 51 yards run, and sets him up for the field goal. Because at this point, you don't know who to go after. That's why you just have to take one thing away. If you don't decide to take one thing away, all of it's going to kill you. And that's what you have to do, you know, and there you go. The field goal that seals the deal. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you guys for joining me. It was fun. I want you guys to like, share, and subscribe. Leave some comments down the bottom. And listen, come join us, man. Come over here and talk, you know, talk some sports. Because if you come over here, and you whatever you're saying makes sense, we're putting it up on the board. You get to score some points around here. But in any event, it was nice you guys joining us tonight, and I'll see you on the next episode. Have a good night and God bless. Peace.